So finally we got the badge for the IBC exhibition in Amsterdam. It's one of the world's biggest camera exhibitions, so we're so excited to check out the new camera equipment. So let's go!
Eventually we settled on these two characters. So we're going to figure out now how we're going to make them move.
What I'm most excited about is the Aputure stand. Maybe they can show us the new speedbooster, DEC speedbooster. And also I'm excited about the Sony A7s Mark II and the new Blackmagic camera. So let's go!
Eventually we settled on these two characters.
Okay, so first off, the Aputure stand. A lot of people have been waiting for the DEC speedbooster, and guess what? They actually had it on their stand. For those of you who doesn't know what it is, let me explain. Almost half a year ago, Aputure released an adapter with wireless focus and camera control. For an affordable price, you could focus remotely, and that was a breakthrough for us indie filmmakers. Almost the same time, Metabones released the speedbooster, which is an adapter between full-frame or APS-C lenses and cameras with smaller sensors like the Micro Four Third inside the GH4 and the Blackmagic Cinema Pocket camera. The speedbooster gives you one more stop of aperture and less crop, so almost a must for every owner of a Micro Four Third camera and full-frame lenses. But since you couldn't use both the DEC adapter and the speedbooster at the same time, filmmakers asked for a combination of both in one adapter, and here it is. Aputure told me that the glass they are using is of a higher quality than the Metabones speedbooster because their glass is produced at the same factory as where Nikon get their glass from, and they are said to be the world leader in terms of glass quality. It will have a crop factor of 0.7, and it will give us one more stop of aperture. To transmit and power the wireless signals, this is attached to the adapter. And with this remote controller, you can control the focus, aperture and recording. They will start the production next month, and they mentioned around $600 or $700, but that is just a guess. In addition to the new DEC speedbooster, Aputure is going to release a transmitter that transfers uncompressed signals from your camera and to a receiver in a stunning 100 meters distance. Simply connect a HDMI to the transmitter and then connect the receiver to a monitor or, for example, a video recorder. So, if you are using a recorder like the Atom Shogun, you can record uncompressed video wirelessly from 100 meters distance. The transmitter even has zero latency, so this is very impressive. Then it was time to visit the quite bigger Sony stand and the new Sony A7s Mark II. Actually, I could only find one example of this camera on their stand, and since it was quite busy, I didn't have much time to look at it. But this is the information about it. The camera body of the A7s Mark II is a bit thicker than the Mark I, and that's because of the impressive 5-axis image stabilization built inside. So no matter what kind of lenses you are using, you will get image stabilization. The camera will be able to record 4K internally with 100 megabit per second compression, just like the GH4. It will also record up to 120 frames per second in Full HD 100 megabit per second. It uses the full frame sensor to capture video, so you will get less moire. It has S-Log3, which is a flat picture profile which is perfect for color grading. And as the Sony A7s Mark I, it has an incredible low light performance with ISO up to 409,600. In my next video, I'm actually comparing the low light performance of the A7s with the Aputure 4 lens and the GH4 with Aputure 1.2. To get the best video quality from the Sony A7s and GH4, you should use an external recorder like the Atom Shogun. This company has released a new external recorder called the Ninja Assassin. is a new version of the Shogun, and it's both a 7-inch monitor and recorder. Just connect it to a camera with HDMI and you have the opportunity to record, play, monitor and edit your 4K uncompressed video captured with your camera. You get image analysis, focus peaking and 3D LUTs to recreate classic film look instantly. Price is $1,295. When walking around the IBC, I could see both small cameras, bigger cameras, cameras made out of wood, and cameras made for 360 video and VR goggles like the Oculus Rift. This 360 camera from Fraunhofer was fun to test. It's made out of 10 lenses pointing towards mirrors angled 36 degrees. So in total it creates a 360-degree video with a resolution of 10,000 x 2,000 pixels. Connecting it to the Samsung Gear VR, we could look around in 360 live video. And that's quite fascinating. GoPro is also making rigs for this kind of futuristic movie making, as well as Nokia with their new camera called Uso. So, what about the new Blackmagic cameras? The Blackmagic Ursa Mini is quite interesting. It's a 2.2 kg camera with a choice of either a 4K sensor or a 4.6K sensor. The one we tested had the 4K sensor. You can record raw 4K video in up to 60 frames per second. When recording up to 30 frames per second, it uses a global shutter, which is much better than a rolling shutter in my opinion. With a global shutter, you won't get the wobbly effect, which is found in almost every digital camera when there's a lot of movement to the camera. The Ursa Mini captures 12 stops of dynamic range in 265 megabytes per second. That's the same as 2000 megabits per second. That's 15 gigabytes of video per minute. Wow. So for all this and with the EF mount, it costs 2,829 euros. However, to use the camera, you would need more equipment. And that's when things start to get expensive. You would need two 128GB CF fast cards to have enough space for 4K raw recording. They cost $600 each. In addition, you should have at least two V-mount batteries, with a price of $500 each, and a V-mount charger that costs around $700. After adding this equipment, the total cost will be around $5,900. That's almost twice as much as the price of the camera body. So unless you already are owner of V-mount batteries and CF fast cards, the camera may be too expensive for indie filmmakers. Even though this seems quite expensive, they are cheaper than other cameras with the same specifications. The closest competitor I know is the red Scarlet Dragon, which can record 5K raw with 48 frames per second up to 16.5 stops of dynamic range. So it's slightly more impressive, but the starter kit with the batteries and the hard drives you need costs around $20,000. So yeah, the price of the Blackmagic Ursa Mini isn't actually that bad. The Blackmagic design also is releasing the Blackmagic Micro Cinema camera, which is a small action camera. So what's different from this camera compared to other action cameras? One difference is that it can record with global shutter. A problem with, for example, the GoPro is the wobbly rolling shutter when there's a lot of movement. This camera will capture the whole frame each time, so you don't get a nasty looking video. With global shutter, it can record up to 30 frames per second full HD, and you can actually turn on the rolling shutter to be able to record up to 60 frames per second. Another reason why this could be a popular action camera is because it can actually capture raw video 220 megabits per second, and other codecs like Apple ProRes 422 HQ. The Micro Cinema camera comes with an MTF mount. It has several outputs and the opportunity to be controlled wirelessly. It uses Canon LP batteries and it's included in the price. The total price is $995. In addition to the Micro Cinema camera and the Ursa Mini, they have a more expensive one called only Ursa, which to me looks a bit overkill. It has one giant 10-inch flip screen and two 5-inch touchscreens. Also, they showed us the world's most funny looking camera, the Blackmagic Studio camera. I also went by the Rode stand and saw their new VideoMic Pro with a new shock mount. a very small video mic, and a funny looking microphone for capturing high quality stereo sound. Since it was my first time at the IBC expedition, I was amazed by all different film and video gear. If you are an indie filmmaker like me, I would recommend you to visit it, because it's a whole new experience and you get the opportunity to test new film gear. Also, they have contests where you can win stuff, and I was so close.
I got lots and lots of prizes to give away. I don't want to go home with all this stuff, so... All right, here we go. All right, pink, 447.
Or it felt like I was very close.
So the IBC expedition is over for this time. I actually managed to buy a Steadicam. It was only 50 euros. It's a Yelangu. It was really good and quite affordable. So I will probably make a video about this one. But thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video, even though it was a bit different. And stay tuned, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.